Welcome to the kill-death ratio, where I count all my kills and all my deaths. Today, I'm playing Resident Evil 6 as Leon Kennedy. Released in 2012, this entry abandoned all notions of survival horror in favor of action-oriented gameplay following the massive success of Resident Evil 5. In addition to its reliance on action, it suffers from being a bit too over the top, an overabundance of QTEs, and lackluster boss fights. Capcom's attempt to attract the Call of Duty crowd meant ignoring what fans love about this series, which is why this is widely considered the worst entry in the mainline games. I honestly wasn't looking forward to playing this one, but it's a necessary stepping stone to the good stuff. How many bodies does Leon add to his count? Let's find out. Before selecting any difficulty or campaign, we begin with the opening credits overlaid with Akihiko Narita's score, who previously worked on Resident Evil 5 and various Capcom titles. It's ended by an explosion that sends two blurry people into a windshield. We wake up in first-person perspective, dragging a body to safety as a helicopter circles us. We get off the street and switch to third person, revealing Leon and newcomer to the series, Helena Harper. After 3 minutes of slow-ass motherfucking walking, we place Helena down in search of healing supplies. Before we heal Helena, we get a call from Hunnigan, our main point of contact back in Resident Evil 4 and who will continue that role with Leon in this game. Our first enemy shows up and after a series of QTEs becomes the first kill added to the count. After Helena consumes those herbs, Hunnigan tells them to get the hell out of there, but Leon, being the hero he is, says nah, I'ma go rescue more people, but it's rush hour, so I clear out the zombies in my way. Until a fucking plane randomly falls on the street, causing a massive chain explosion that forces me to perform another QTE to escape. We jump under the helicopter in the nick of time and I kick this clingy fool into the fire below. We climb into the chopper, but the pilot is fucking dead, so now Leon has to take control while shooting at a zombie attacking Helena that pushes my kill total into double digits. We grind against a train and then crash into a building, sending us falling onto a glass ceiling with a mob of zombies below us. In yet another QTE, we dodge the chopper before it falls on us and crushes the zombies below. We continue into the next room over with dead soldiers littered about when something grabs our hero's attention.
Back for more.
I'd rather be playing Resident Evil 7 if I'm being honest, but I'll stick it out with you, bro. We flip to the title card, but wait. What's that guy doing to that draft? Now it has us select which campaign we want and I select normal difficulty. We open in the fictional city of Tall Oaks in the year 2013 with Leon yelling at the zombie president to stay put. You'd think after Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 he wouldn't hesitate, but finally he gathers his senses and pulls the trigger.
I did this.
No, I literally just shot him. At this point, they don't know each other, so Helena says she'll tell him everything at Tall Oaks Cathedral instead of just doing it right now. But then she gets a call from Hunnigan who reveals Helena is a Secret Service agent. Leon admits he killed the president, but Hunnigan didn't vote for that old fogey and moves on quickly.
You two just focus on getting the hell out of there.
In a sequence that reminds me a lot of 24, Helena claims Leon has a lead at the cathedral, essentially forcing us to team up and head that direction. Clearly not in a hurry, both of us take our sweet ass time walking around until we hear noise on the other side of this door.
Roger.
Oh, you know who it is? Roger says some fog rolled in and wreaked havoc, and then hears some screaming in the distance and goes after it, claiming it's his daughter, and along the way crop dusts us.
That's quite a draft.
We continue walking super slow, getting scared by thunder, and finally find his daughter Liz. We enter the nearby elevator when Liz seemingly dies and the power goes out. In the dark we hear some squelchy sounds to see Liz chomping down on dear old Roger. Helena domes her before the elevator opens up in the parking garage where I get stabby on some zombies. I run by the rest and head to the security room door.
Roger!
No, he's dead back in the elevator, Helena. Get your ass over here. Inside we watch some idiots ignore the zombies coming up behind them and then quickly bump the kill total close to 50 as we trek through the university. We locate a cop car in what is one of the dumbest QTEs I have ever experienced. I look around the cop car for the key and then drive off only to immediately wreck the goddamn car after a zombie decides to say what up from the roof. In classic Resident Evil fashion, we jump into the sewers and then flash back to a conversation with the president who intends to come clean about what happened in Raccoon City 15 years prior. We spend just a couple minutes in the sewers and exit into a subway with zombies eating fresh, adding them and some zombie dogs to the tally while keeping my head on a swivel as trains speed by, forcing me to dodge and even gives me my first death of the game as it rams me even though I'm on the other side of the tracks. Eventually we save this lady locked inside the train only for her to do some stupid ass shit and open the shutter door despite there obviously being zombies on the other side. Wait, why does she sound like this? Her idiocy bumps my kill total up by 7 before we head up to the streets and into mass chaos where zombies are feasting, motorcyclists are riding blind, and I'm just trying to get by with as little hassle as possible. We wander into this family's house and make a quick stop to catch the news, but this dude gets pissed at our presence, prompting us to exit where we encounter our first special zombie called the Shrieker. I add a couple more zombies and the Shrieker to the count, then launch Helena to the opposite walkway that contains a second floor dumpster for whatever reason. The kills keep on coming when we get out of that spot and come up on a gas station with more survivors. We lend a helping hand until an ambulance slams into me, forcing Helena to inject some adrenaline. Capcom did a nice job of making the AI partner much better than it was in Resident Evil 5. Helena kicks ass and almost never needs babysitting. It's time to end this nonsense, so I shoot the gasoline leaking onto the streets, blowing up 3 zombies I counted near us, despite the cutscene showing a lot more. We follow the survivors to a gun shop, but the owner won't let us upstairs until downstairs has been cleared out. I get my kill total over 100 fending off the incoming horde while also being introduced to another new zombie type called the Bloodshot when this asshole steals his girlfriend's gun and tries to leave us behind. This Bloodshot increases its kill count to 2 as it ends my life here as well. Once downstairs has been cleared, the shop owner lets us in, saying a bus is coming to pick him up and take him to the cathedral, which is super convenient for us until it isn't when more enemies flood the upstairs, including a new chonky variant called the Whopper that tries to have it his way and instead gets blasted by my remote bomb. The bus speeds in, but when we board, another Whopper uses its mask to prevent us from getting out of here. I add 1 zombie on the bus before shooting the big boy in the face enough to release his grip and turn him into a speed bump. On the drive there, Hunnigan informs us that most of the city's population has been infected, and that an organization called Neo Umbrella has claimed responsibility, while Derek Simmons, the National Security Advisor, is showing unusual interest. Then the fucking dipshit driving the bus slams into a zombie and loses control, sending us teetering over the edge of a cliff. The zombies flood the bus, adding 5 more to the count, and then like we're in Grand Theft Auto or some shit, a semi-truck rounds the corner and smashes into us for no good reason whatsoever. We get on our feet completely unscathed and watch the last survivor blow up. Leon, who's voiced by Matt Mercer, who has been in just about everything, and Helena, voiced by Laura Bailey, who has been on the channel before with her work as Abby Anderson in The Last of Us Part 2, continue on into the cemetery, adding several more zombies, some dogs, and a couple Shriekers to the count before coming up on the cathedral. However, it's locked and the people inside refuse to open up until we eliminate the enemies out front. We spend a couple minutes increasing our kills while this absolute BAMF goes against the others' wishes and starts helping us. Finally, they open the doors and let us inside where Helena points to the back saying there's a hidden passage there. We go through a series of dumb puzzles to open the passage and unleashing this booby monster on everyone. This disgusting thing chases the survivors around, turning them into zombies using gas. I let Helena deal with most of them, but I still claim 5 kills before Helena tries to sabotage me, dealing a death blow to the Lipotitsa. That name sounds made up, but I assure you it's not. Eventually, I end this thing's existence with a remote bomb and we head down into the underground passage where I add a couple more zombies to the count. We enter a vacant room when Helena shouts for someone named Deborah. Who? Exactly, Leon. At this point, she rushes around, continuing to look for this person while I'm left to mop up any zombies that attack. We enter a lab where Leon finds a videotape left by our old pal Ada Wong, revealing a C-virus experiment that has her all cocooned up and hatching in slimy nakedness. Slimy? Yet satisfying. Now that our 2 heroes are properly weirded out, it's time to get out of this place by murdering a lot more enemies, increasing the count to over 200, before exiting by way of trash chute. After sifting through some tunnels, we find Deborah, but Helena still refuses to elaborate on what the hell is going on until we get out. So now I'm required to protect her and her sister, who bursts into flames and becomes a cocoon, and much like Ada's kinky videotape, she starts to hatch, but before it's complete, Ada comes in with an epic crossbow shot to the forehead. As the area begins quaking, Helena grabs hold of Deborah, who knocks the column down, making this jinkety-ass place even more unstable. Ada tosses me a ring without any context, and we continue down the walkway until we reach a platform where Deborah waits to fight. I kill 5 zombies until she shatters the ground below us, separating me from the girls. I kill another 5 zombies before reuniting with them in this minecart, giving me visions of Spain. Deborah presents herself in all her glory, continuing the fight while adding more kills to the count. Eventually, we fly off the tracks and land nearby, where Helena dies twice to her mutant sister. But Helena ain't Leon, so it doesn't count. Using my sniper, I make her put that gross throat arm away, causing her to stumble over the edge where Helena catches her and tells her what her favorite Ozzy Osbourne album is.
No more tears!
She's much too slimy to keep a hold of, so Helena drops her into the void and we transition to a flashback showing Derek Simmons keeping the 2 sisters captive. Helena finally explains her role in all this by saying she helped Simmons breach the president's security to save her sister. Much good that did, huh? Ada does some Ada shit and Batmans her way out of here, right before we speak with Hunnigan, who is in Simmons' presence. presence when he accuses us of killing the president. To be fair, I did shoot the guy. Helena and Leon continue their partnership now that they share hatred for Simmons. We traverse the catacombs, adding several more enemies to the count and using the ring Ada gave me to continue onwards. We come up on a flooded cavern that is housing something inside it, outside of the usual zombies that is. Helena gets pulled underwater by a zombie, who is then gobbled up by zombie jaws. We get split up after her little underwater adventure, adding a variety of creatures to the count and bumping the total real close to 300 while saving Helena.
Enough already! Shut the hell up!
Well, that was fucking rude. Once the killing is finished, we take a ride on a water slide that sends us even further underground that requires some swimming, where eventually the Berserk grabs hold of us and kills me in yet another stupid ass QTE. I reload, and after about 5 minutes of QTEs, escape attempts, and another goddamn water slide, I blow its face apart using an explosive barrel. The water dumps us into a lake just in time for a repeat of Raccoon City. We hardly get time to dry off before Hunnigan calls, saying Simmons is headed to China because of another bioterrorist attack similar to the one we just endured in Tall Oaks. In a real Jack Bauer move, Leon asks Hunnigan to fake their deaths so they can sneak into China. We cut to them aboard an airplane over China when some turbulence hits and we find the pilots are dead and one comes at us in the form of the booby monster. It kills me once before I realize there's a magnum sitting on the ground that I use to blast it until it runs away. Hunnigan advises us the pressure in the plane is out of whack, so we run to the other end and simply turn this valve to stabilize it because that makes a lot of sense. But as soon as we accomplish that, old Boobs McGee comes out of the ceiling and chases Helena around so I can depressurize this shit again and open the hatch, sending it flying out for my 300th kill and me for my 5th death. Once the hatch is closed, it's time to go back to the cockpit, but the booba monster has turned everyone on this plane into a zombie, allowing me to increase my count some more. Hunnigan tells us to take the controls and guides us on how to pilot this thing, but she fails as I crash twice despite doing exactly what I'm told. Once I'm relieved of the QTE nonsense, we fly over Ada only to crash the plane anyway and somehow survive. These people should be dead like 5 times over by now. We exit the plane when...
Leon?
Oh no, please don't. Oh, thank God it's not Ashley. We speak with Sherry Birkin, who Claire saved back in Raccoon City during the events of Resident Evil 2, and we meet Jake, her partner in this madness. She's working for Simmons, but before we can converse too much, we're attacked by the Ustanok, who is the main antagonist in Jake and Sherry's campaign. The beast is invincible, so I spend several minutes doing enough damage to it to stun it when a tower falls between us and Sherry shouts where we can meet her. I can appreciate what director Eiichiro Sasaki was going for with this game. He wanted it to be a large-scale interconnecting game with unique campaigns that had different vibes to them. There were specific units assigned to sections of the game in order to give them their own individual personalities, like Leon's campaign being closest to the quote-unquote classic Resident Evil, and Chris's resembling his Resident Evil 5 adventure. But man, it just doesn't work for me. We come up on a fish market and hear a man getting attacked by something we haven't seen before. Once we reach the locked door, the piles of meat begin shifting around and turn into the Rasclapagnae, a creature that regenerates and cannot be killed under normal means. I avoid them as much as I can, grabbing the necessary keys and getting the hell out of there. Unfortunately for me, that isn't the end of that enemy because one jumps Leon here and the only way to get by it is with a QTE that I fail 4 fucking times because the button presses on the keyboard weren't quick enough. Then I just plain messed up after plugging in a controller. At least we get this sick death animation out of it though. Once I pass the QTE, I toss the Rasclapagnae into the blades and move onwards where we spot Ada. We follow her, and after a series of traps, we catch up with her along with Chris and his partner Piers. Chris argues Ada is the cause of the outbreak, whereas Leon claims it's Simmons. Chris brings up his lost men, and Leon one-ups him saying he lost a whole ass city and the president of the US of A. All this grandstanding allows Ada time to stun everyone with a flashbang and escape. We split up with Chris pursuing Ada and us pursuing Simmons. So basically nothing has fucking changed since the start, and when we do find Simmons, he tries to have Sherry arrest us, but she refuses and gives us a chip with some important deets on it. His bitch ass isn't leaving here unscathed because a stranger comes up behind him and shoots a dart into his neck, causing him to stumble over a ledge and onto the roof of a passing train. We approach Simmons, who believes the US would lose its global presence if the president revealed what happened in Raccoon City, then morphs into a fucking saber-toothed tiger. One death later, we shoot Simmons enough to go back into human form to get owned by Leon.
What would happen if
The world will be a better place!
And in a move Dominic Toretto would detest, his own family leaves him behind, allowing us to finish the fight for now. We jump off the train and swim ashore, and one slow-ass motherfucking walk later, we're on the phone again with Hunnigan when we find out Jake, who has been abducted, is the key to stopping the C virus. But a missile is headed our way and blows up over the city. Thankfully, it didn't explode near us, giving us time to tell Chris to go rescue Sherry and Jake, who turns out to be Wesker's son. Chris drops news that makes Leon big sad. But there isn't time to mourn because the city is going nuts. I accidentally walk into the gas for another death, and when I reload we take shelter in a building that zombies begin invading. Nameless Homie sacrifices himself for us, but honestly I'd rather trade positions because the subsequent car ride feels like the longest one ever. He drops us off and we climb over debris onto a street where yet another truck almost kills us. It explodes and we're right back where we began in the intro of the game. Once we're back on our feet, we realize Ada's the one flying the chopper, making Chris Redfield a big fat boulder punching liar. We progress through this area, and while things look the same, it plays out slightly differently, meaning I'll add these zombies to the count despite doing so at the very beginning. We find out the person Leon was talking to at the end of the intro is none other than Derek Simmons, who is in fact back for more, but in dinosaur form. This boss fight is so fucking stupid, guys. He's a bullet sponge, taking hits from Ada in the helicopter, from both Helena and Leon, and from mounted guns nearby. He can also kill you in one hit, which he does to me once. This fight took me 17 minutes in all, and it's only the first phase. We take the elevator up the building, following Ada to the roof, but things get crazy, causing us to climb the cables further up while Ada fights Simmons on the sky bridge. Eventually, Ada gets knocked out, causing Leon to come to her aid when Simmons insults my manhood and makes things really fucking awkward.
With me, my love. We'll be together forever.
During this stage, I add a few more zombies until Simmons knocks me over the edge and he acts like a stereotypical villain until Ada stabs him and pushes him into the fire below. We head up to the roof to find Ada's chopper, but this motherfucker will not give up. I kill 2 more zombies before dealing enough damage for him to stop defending himself and becomes an undead snack. But wait, it's not over yet. This time Simmons turns into a giant ass fly. I kill 3 more zombies in between shooting Simmons, and even after getting struck by lightning and having body parts blasted off, the douchebag will not give up. Once we reach the helicopter, I use the RPG to deal the final blow and send this asshole into the afterlife for good this time. He falls and gets impaled on the obelisk we fought by during his Jurassic phase, and his blood forms the Umbrella logo in some spooky send-off. We discover Ada left a chip containing evidence of Simmons' guilt.
It will prove your innocence.
Our innocence.
I don't need it.
Helena.
What the fuck? We fly away in the chopper and fast forward to Helena visiting her sister's grave. With their records cleared, our 2 heroes walk to the car and we walk into the final numbers. I finished Leon's campaign with 352 total kills, which brings Leon's final kill count across the series to 1,295. I matched Resident Evil 5's death total at 14 due to some truly terrible QTE sequences. This gives me my worst kill-death ratio yet in the Resident Evil series at 25.14. I wrapped up this campaign in 5 hours and 43 minutes, giving us a kill on average every 0.97 minutes and a death every 24.5 minutes. There are still 3 other campaigns in this game that provide different perspectives to complete the story. If there's enough demand for it, I'll gladly come back and complete Chris's, Jake's, and Ada's campaigns, but for now, I plan to jump to Resident Evil 7 next because frankly, this game is kind of shit. It has its moments and I truthfully dig the ridiculous 80s action movie feel, but it's repetitive and not all that fun to play in solo mode. Let me know down below if you want to see other campaigns, and I'll see you next time. I'm King Deschain, signing off for now.